Hello. I'm Pat from Press Any Key. This is Mike.
Also from Press Any Key.
You may know him from other things, such as other episodes of Press Any Key. And we had a full episode for you tonight. However, we had a technical mishap.
You're making this so solemn.
And unfortunately, when that happened, that whole side of the studio just burned down. So we salvaged what equipment that we could, and we were able to put a small episode together for you with our guest Ryan from I'd Like a Refund. But with that said, just enjoy this little mini one for this week, and then we'll get you back with a full one, next week. Mike won't be here though.
My love will be.
He's been drafted
again
to the,
Well, Nick's dead this week. He died in that fire.
He did. And that was unfortunate, but that's the risk you take when you're on this show,
Live fast, die young, baby.
No, it's live fast, die beautiful. Or I don't know, whatever.
Not if you die in a fire. That said, enjoy the episode.
Yeah, with that said, we'll enjoy this one, and then we'll see you for a full one next week. Bye-bye. We'll see you around.
I love you.
Hi, everyone. I know I bet you're wondering why you came here this week, and we're wondering too. But we thank you. And I'm recording this right now in case I can't get the file back. But we have Ryan here from the I'd Like a Refund podcast, and we just did a whole hour and 20 minutes. And Windows decided to fuck us, and then, let's be real, OBS got fucked by Windows, and then OBS decided I'm gonna fuck everybody else. So it's like the transitive property of fucking.
Effectively,
yeah. You got to start at the source.
Didn't even pay for dinner first.
I like to be wine and dine before you fuck me.
Man, can we stop at KFC? So we talked about the Elden Ring DLC. We talked about Wolon. Whatever.
The new Dark Souls.
The new Dark Souls like game.
And how bad Pat is at it. Yeah, we talked about all that.
You'll never know now. We talked about the potential second Nintendo Switch, and we literally had just finished up a conversation about how David Zaslav wants to turn Lord of the Rings into Star Wars, and why that's a bad idea. So really all that's left is for us to review what the main topic was this week, and that is the first episode of season 3 of Mandalorian, which was wild because we just had a really good conversation about Star Wars, which was the perfect entry into this. But basically,
just pretend you heard it.
Yeah, so whatever your feelings on Star Wars is, that's our feelings too. So, you just, whatever you agree with, we're there too. Whatever.
Come in with the same amount of vitriol that we were getting ready to come in with.
Exactly. Whatever your thoughts and opinions are on that, us as well. How funny. So, we're just going to go straight into this. Pray to God that OBS doesn't crash again. We're good, right?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
You had a concerned face.
Yeah.
No, that's going to just be my face for the rest of the night now.
And remember, kids, update your software. And if you own a software company, don't roll out the update Sunday evenings at fucking...
While I'm doing my fucking podcast.
At 9 o'clock at night.
Releases should be at 3 o'clock in the morning like every other software company.
You tell them.
Let them know. All right, so
Mando Season 3.
Mando Season 3, Episode 1.
Yeah.
We watched it yesterday, and I felt nothing. I know that people are like, it's so good that good Star Wars is back in this, and it's just like, I kind of feel the same way I felt towards Andor. I'm just apathetic to all of this now. I just don't care. Like, I think this is really good. I think the writing's a whole lot better than any of the shows that have come out in between. I think that the attitude is there, the essence of what makes Mandalorian great is there. But I'm just how long am I supposed to care about this? You know what I mean? Especially when we have shows like The Last of Us, which I am just fucking hooked on every
It's
episode.
so good.
It's unreal.
So good.
We had The Boys season 3 was this year, which
3.
was
Season 3.
straight up one of the best seasons of television I've ever seen. I'm sure House of the Dragon we spoke about a little bit before.
Yeah.
We got some stuff.
Yeah, we got some good stuff.
TV's been good to us.
Liz has been watching I'm Harrison Ford, and I'm on Apple TV.
Help,
Oh, Shrinking? That show's good.
I'm watching Shrinking.
Yeah,
we got
that show's
season
really good.
3 of Ted Lasso coming out this week. If you like cable TV, Abbott Elementary is a banger. We got a couple seasons of that. You can get it literally on HBO Max, Hulu, and cable television.
Tell them.
I'm watching a lot on TV. I'm watching a lot of cable TV right
It's
now.
a lot.
It's weird.
I mean, basically, they just reinvented cable anyway with the way that they're doing all of these platforms. Regardless, I kind of felt the same with it felt like it should have been 10 minutes of filler in a larger episode where something happened.
And that's the thing is listen, I love Daddy Pedro. Okay?
We all do.
We all do.
He's our slutty daddy.
He's our slutty daddy.
Actually, stop it. Okay.
I
Because
know.
he was
I'm
on the
sorry.
red carpet and someone was like, check out all these
Yeah.
thirst tweets. And it made him visibly
yeah,
uncomfortable.
he was like, I'm
And-
not gonna respond.
Yeah, he's like, no, thanks. I don't want to talk about that. And it's just like, okay, if I'm not gonna get too into it, but if the roles were reversed, that's sexual harassment.
Yeah.
That's 100% what that was.
Ask him about his career.
He's baby girl.
Yeah, exactly. Ask him about his character, his career. He knows he's
a heartthrob.
daddy. Okay,
Yeah.
he knows. All right,
Yeah, he
daddy.
knows.
Daddy's not a role; it's a mindset. All right,
except when he's like, oh, I think Oscar Isaac is supposed to be daddy. He actually has children. They're like, Pedro, no.
Yep.
Pedro Pascal once again steps right into the shoes of Din Djarin. No problem.
Well, does he though?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Like physically speaking?
I think his whole thing was recently he said that the thing that he hates about playing Mando is that when he puts the helmet on, he can't see anything. Because that visor is basically black besides
Yeah.
for the lights that he sees on set. So they'll have
Which
to
are probably,
stand behind the
yeah.
camera and here's your sight line and flash a flashlight for him, for him to look that direction,
Do we think he's actually in the costume?
That's
I
my
think-
question.
I
Yeah.
think
How
for-
much is Pedro actually in the costume has been
I-
a debate since the first season, and
Especially
no one
with
really
this-
has an answer.
Especially with all the shit he's doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
Probably.
I think
let's say
he's
probably.
I think he's in the costume. I'm gonna go ahead and say 40% of the time. Because there are some quieter moments. You need that body language. You need that. But when he's moving
agree.
in the action, yeah. But I mean, the quieter moments between him and the fucking puppet. The parts where obviously he takes his helmet off. They're not.
I like
they're-
that you treat the Grogu animatronic like it's like a Muppet from the 1970s.
because it feels like
It
that.
looks like it's straight out of
do you-
Jim Henson's Creature Shop.
How come
Which it might
always
be.
it always is standing the same way? It's whenever they throw it around, its legs never move.
Yeah,
its
it's true.
torso never turns. It's just I get it. It's cool. We went back to animatronics and puppetry. I'm all for that. But god damn it. What the fuck is going on here? Make it feel a little bit more alive.
I actually like it. The part of this episode that I really enjoyed was when they were trying to fix the droid and those little the little dudes.
The Babu Freaks.
Yeah, the
thank
Babu
you.
Freaks, yeah.
When they're
Yeah.
trying to fix it and then
Yeah.
I was like, it's great. I was like, this to me feels very original Star Wars, fun to watch. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is great. The rest of the
It's
episode,
just-
I
it's
was like,
just
okay,
weird.
cool.
I will say it's just weird how I feel like this was the first episode of a really highly anticipated season. I mean, what pisses me off is they had an amazing ending with season 2, right? They had this incredible ending where Mando hands off the fucking the Grogu to Luke Skywalker, and he goes to train to be a Jedi. I was like, what a better there couldn't have been a better ending.
Right.
then, even better, they wrote Gina Carano out. Who could I mean,
they literally in this episode do the Simpsons Poochie thing where it's like, oh, he went off to his other planet.
And Poochie went home to his home planet.
Yeah, and
oh my god,
it's just hilarious so because it's just like, boy, what a blessing in disguise that was. Like, because in my opinion, I don't think she added anything to the show, and she was horrendous. She's such a bad actress that the first movie that she was ever in, they redubbed all of her dialogue with a different actress because she just couldn't read a line correctly. She just couldn't do it.
Oof.
So but either way, I mean, she did nothing for me, so I'm glad that she's out.
Ryan, what'd you think?
Okay, so, I have some personal ties to Mandalorian, and the first 2 seasons, I think, are... I know we talked about the Star Wars stuff a little bit. Like, it's the Star Wars that I always wanted to watch as as a fan. And I love it. I love the first 2 seasons. I think season 2.5 is fantastic.
I want to throw myself out of a window.
I called it that. I called it that too. I was like, oh, the Book of Boba Fett. You mean Mandalorian season 2.5?
Half of those episodes being Mando?
It feels like, all right, you know how people call Civil War Avengers 2.5?
Yes.
It's not. Yes. Okay? Because the center of the story is still around Captain America.
You cannot tell me that 5th episode where Boba Fett's not even in it, and that 6th episode where he doesn't show up to the last 2 minutes, you cannot tell me that Boba Fett is the central character of that story.
But that's exactly what I'm saying, is that I reject the idea that Civil War is Avengers 2.5 because the heart of the story is still surrounding Bucky and Captain America.
That's
right?
fair. Totally fair. Yes.
Fucking Book of Boba Fett was like, well, we ran out of material for Boba Fett. What should we do?
Book of Boba Fett, they're like, we're going to do an hour and 15-minute first episode. That's the entire aspect of Boba Fett that you were curious. How did he escape the Sarlacc pit? We're going to show you everything in one episode.
And
now he's just hanging.
There's also these weird. Well, that was my other big criticism, which Nick actually gave you shit for, was that show takes place in between trips to the bath.
Yes.
Like,
oh my god.
Like he takes a bath, he gets up, he does stuff, he goes back to the bath.
I should fight a crime lord.
Yeah. It's and the best parts of the Book of Boba Fett were the stuff with Mando. However, I just recently learned that apparently that shit with Mando was never supposed to happen. That was Kathleen Kennedy being like, we need to spice this up pretty much, and she forced like Grogu and Mando into that story because Grogu...
They put Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka in this show. They're like, yeah, just give us everything we have in this show. We need to save it by all means necessary.
Grogu, he wasn't even supposed to be in season 3 of Mando because he's supposed to train with Luke for 2 years.
Yeah, he's on his own journey.
But of course, apparently there was some infighting, and Jon Favreau threatened to leave Disney and Lucasfilm and say like, unless I get to do whatever I want with Mando season 3, and that's when this was before Iger was there. I mean, Iger came back. And Chapek like actually had to tell Kathleen Kennedy like you need to let him do whatever he wants. Like
go sit down.
Yeah, and like the other thing is we got shit for it on TikTok by some fucking weirdos, but like Kathleen Kennedy's gonna be out after Indiana Jones, or if not by the end of the year. You know what I mean? So like it like they are doing what they can to usher her out because the decisions, like I said, I think it was 2020 or 2021, we did an episode, and apparently the reason that there's no Star Wars films out currently or that they're working on any is because they're focused on, quote, making sure they get it right. And our question was, what the fuck were they thinking about before that? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So
before they were thinking about making money, now it's making it right.
Yeah, exactly. So now though, with the start of this season, I kind of feel like the start of season 1 had this big introduction for Mando. Obviously, you're introduced to like the Mandalore, the whole like armor set shit. You're introduced to the introduction for Mando in general for Din in that first episode is absolutely crazy.
Oh,
he cuts
really
that
cool.
guy in half with the door and everything.
I don't know about you guys. I thought that in this episode that came out, I thought the beginning was a flashback.
I thought it was too. I thought it was young Mando.
It was too. Yeah, and then I mean,
Or Young Din, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, whatever it is. I mean, you can't just throw his name out like that after we know him for so long. You know what I mean? It's like, listen, you can't be like, my name is Mando, and then be like, oh, I'm actually Greg. You know what I mean? Like, no, you ain't Greg to me, bro.
Hey, Greg.
So, I just named him for the rest of the time we cover this show, by the way.
There you go.
Greg's just fucking doing whatever he wants.
I thought and here's the thing, I really like that scene, and I believe there'll be more context to it later on, right? Especially since the whole plot of this show is like going to the underground, like the gold mines,
the living whatever it is, the waters,
and reclaiming his status as a Mandalorian, right?
Yes.
But that first scene, I really like, but I don't understand what the context of it was. Like, why did they do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just to show his reintroduction, obviously, like coming back, and I think it's to also show all the Mandalorians now that they don't have, their cities and their homeworld and everything. Like, these are the conditions.
They're refugees.
Yeah, they're refugees.
Yeah.
These are the conditions that they're kind of stuck with, which is also fucking hysterical. They're like, we're going to go to the beach. We're going to give this baptism of this kid and give him a helmet. Oh, we're just going to go to the beach that has a giant crocodile.
Nobody checked?
Yeah.
Nobody checked.
You mean the giant crocodile that wouldn't come out of the water, but they still chose to engage and not just run inside?
Yeah.
No?
I also think it's one of those weird things where it's like, all right, if none of you checked, you didn't bring the right firepower in case this happened. And the thing was, it's that like nobody, like for the first half of that battle, was like, we gotta try something else, because they're all just shooting like pew 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 with their small like assassin guns.
Yeah.
But then I see one of them use the flamethrower, and it doesn't even come close to hitting.
And then they're like get to the air.
Yeah, not even a little bit.
Yeah, they're like, oh fuck, we forgot we're at Crocodile Lake. I should have brought a gun.
Who would have guessed that at Crocodile Lake there'd be a crocodile? I didn't see that coming at all.
Yeah, it made him look really like fumbly.
Really
I was like,
dumb.
They looked incompetent.
Yeah.
They really did.
Which that might be the case, that they're supposed to look incompetent. But I did like the idea of like, I mean, you guys have you ever played BioShock Infinite?
Yes, I have.
The baptism scene, like at the Battle of Wounded Knee and everything. That's what it reminded me of. I was like, oh, okay, it's not really religious, but it's dogmatic in a sense that like they're blessing you into their tribe.
Yeah,
and now
it's a baptism.
Once you put this helmet on, you are now a part of us, and you cannot take that. How do they sleep?
I don't know, but wait.
Uncomfortably.
No, he sleeps in his starfighter with
Now that
Grogu.
I'm thinking about it, like we're talking about like the incompetencies of like these Mandalorians that want to keep their helmet on, and we go see Lady Mando. I don't remember her name, sorry. And she's basically
Lady Mando's fine on this show.
Yeah, like, and she's talking about how the fall of Mandalore was because of that select sect. Now, my gripe with this episode is they were like, here, let me take your hand and introduce you to what we're going to do all of season 3. So now I'm thinking that I'm like, are they going to just basically be like, no, helmets are bad. That is the bad Mandalores, and we don't want them. Is that what we're getting to?
That is the old way.
Oh, right, yeah. What did this? This is the way.
This is the way.
Yeah.
This is the way. This is no longer the way.
Yeah, the way has changed.
This was the
Go
way.
the other way.
Yeah. Now we go this way.
But
Yeah. Now we go this way. I kind of was getting into that a little bit before in terms of like what I thought of the episode, and this is like the overarching issue, if that's the word to use here with the first episode. It is all just exactly that. It's here's what we're doing, and we're setting it all up in the first episode, because nothing of consequence happens in this episode.
And
nothing.
I feel like that's kind of an issue when you want to give people more for the rest of the season. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, think about the ending of the first episode of The Boys, of season 3 of The Boys. Like I was immediately like, well, I need to know what the fuck happens by the end of this season.
Yeah, like,
and like even like a show like The Witcher, think about the end of that first episode. There's intrigue, there's plot, where I feel like this was us just like, I guess we're just following Mando around while he like I mean, there was a thing with the pirates, which was kind of cool, but also that's the thing is
that going to come back?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like we escaped a pirate. Okay.
Well, I mean, this show is getting. It happened in season 2, and there was a small sect of the fan base that was concerned that it was going to turn into the like mission of the week style show.
Right.
And like eventually at the end of the season, they started to tie it all in together to like make it like an overarching plot point. But there were elements of it that happened in previous episodes that never got touched on again. So you just have to be, you have to be a little concerned of them going that route, because with Dave Filoni being such a big part of this project, people need to remember that he comes from animation, and animation, specifically Star Wars animation side, a lot of their like 3-episode arcs or whatever that they're doing are singular stories that we don't really flesh out going forward. They don't play a major point in the narrative that they're fully telling. And I love Dave Filoni. I think having him working on Star Wars is the only thing that saves it from being an absolute dumpster fire of an IP. But people need to remember that when watching this show, like it is going to be a lot of that, of this episode happens and it's self-contained in its own thing. So like people could watch it as like a special if they wanted to or something like that. That's what Mandalorian kind of is at this point. Whereas like some of these other shows where we're telling a narrative, like even like Andor, Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, you're telling like a narrative that's leading into something because those stories are pretty self-contained. They're either like the 6 or 7 episode miniseries, or Andor's like we're doing 2 seasons and that's it. Mandalorian, they're going to ride this train as long as they can because they're making so much money off of merchandise and all of that. So they have to like spread it out in a way where like, let's do this random filler episode with these frog people and her eggs because we need to meet the 8-episode order. So like, I just think it's something that people worry about with Mandalorian. And I think it's a justified worry. It's not something that I'm upset about because I like those self-contained stories where you see them getting into some mischief and who knows what. And and then eventually later on, some of it could play out and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. But I understand why people would have that kind of issue with this show.
Let me ask you this. Specifically regarding the structure in which this story is being told, are you worried about some of the things that Favreau and Filoni have said about the future? Specifically that, one, they don't have an end point in mind. There's not a place that they're building to, which I think is, for all the shit you want to give the Lord of the Rings show, at least they are building to an ending, and they said they have their season planned, like they have everything planned out. For all the shit you want to give Kevin Feige about the Marvel movies right now, there's still a consistent path, like we know where we're going type of thing. And I kind of feel and they said that season 4 is already written and that they're getting ready to shoot it. But I just kind of have an issue where it's like, if you don't know where we're going,
we're just gonna like meander.
Yeah, where like the boys, like they have an ending ready, you know?
Yeah. Like something you learn very early on from like when you're like learning to write scripts and like build out like boards and things like that for film and television. You start with your beginning and you start with your end, and you have those set and you figure out what to do in the middle. Like,
how do we kill 2 hours?
Right. It's like we need to get to this point. It's a matter of, are we going to get there in 2 hours? Are we going to get there in 8 episodes? Are we going to get there in 6 seasons? Like, that's what you have to figure out. So that's a great point. It does. I don't know if concern is the right word, but it does, like, something clicks in my brain where it's like, they don't know what the ending is going to be because they don't really want this to end.
I was gonna say that it's kind
their
of
crown
like,
jewel.
They're like, it's doing really well. It's a really beloved IP. Like they're getting a lot of accolades for this. So they're kind of almost like, well, why would I want to stop that?
Your guys' point about the merchandise too makes sense. Why Kathleen Kennedy was like, no, we need to bring Grogu back.
I have so much Baby Yoda merch
because this motherfucker sells merch.
He sells everything.
The billions.
They
over.
have
Like,
they have a line with Vera Bradley right now. We have multiple Mandalorian mugs that I found on the internet. It's everywhere.
Yeah, no. Grogu is the cell.
Yeah,
like, you know,
he's the
it's
cell, yeah.
the cute plushy boy.
I just brought up this tweet because I remembered it and I thought about it. It says, I would personally like to thank whoever it was that said we need 93% more Grogu doing silly things while his dad tries to stop him screen time in this season.
I did really
100%.
laugh. I did really laugh at that one point where he's like, "No, Grogu," like where he's trying to.
that was funny. Yeah,
that
He's
was
like,
funny.
sorry, he's young.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I can't believe they brought Grogu back. What, the lady who fucks the Jawas in season 1? They didn't want to. They didn't want to leverage her merch. I can't believe that. You know, what I mean? Why wouldn't they? You know.
Well, that was a big question though when
Oh,
season
shit.
2 ended. Before we knew what Boba Fett was going to be about, it's like, well, are they really going to do an entire season without Grogu? Because like that's
I
almost that's like television suicide, taking out
Literally.
your most popular item and being like, we're not doing this
I
anymore.
thought you were going a different direction with that. Like, well, that was the big question going into season 3. Was just, are we gonna bring back the lady that fucks the Jawas or not?
She is coming back in season 3.
We need
good,
to know.
confirmed.
good. That we need that.
Yeah.
You know what? She was a very compelling character. She was
I
like
would agree.
running this
And
whole
someone's gotta fuck the
underground.
Jawas, as
I was
far
gonna
as I'm
say,
concerned.
somebody's. Oh boy.
So Jawas need loving too. So you like that one?
It did.
You're absolutely right. Like, it's television suicide to take out your most valuable player. However, I think that makes, like, if Grogu came back 2 years after training a Jedi and they did, he's now a toddler and like he's if he came back better, like in a more heroic way, and then rejoined the team or like had his own story and everything, right? I feel like that in the long run would have done better. Where of course,
from a narrative sense, 100%.
where of course now, because as you were saying, like this is their most valuable product right now, because literally anything else Star Wars related is just DOA at this point, because listen, people get on our case, but it's true. Like, I'm sorry, Kathleen Kennedy should not be leading Lucasfilm anymore. She's
just not doing
any
it. Like, it's
other
not working.
CEO. If the company, dude, they just fucking threw out Chapek.
It is.
And they brought back the old CPU. No, the old CEO to right the ship. And like, I think Kathleen Kennedy has even said that she's not even really partial to Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. So
she has that job because of her relationship with George and Spielberg. That's why she's there.
I also tend to believe that there was maybe some, we're going to appoint a female executive to one of the hottest IPs ever because that makes us progressive. Not saying it's a bad thing.
There's a chance
but I'm saying that, like, look at Amy Pascal at Sony Pictures. You know what I mean? She is the creative driving force behind the like Spider-Man No Way Home. You know what I mean? I can't really speak for Morbius, but like Spider-Man No Way Home and the relationship that they have with Marvel is a direct result of her being willing to say, like, I want to work with Kevin. I want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She and that is smart, decisive leadership. That's what
Did you guys ever hear the story about the first time Kevin approached Amy about teaming up for Spider-Man?
She threw a sandwich at him, right?
She threw a sandwich at him. Yeah. She's like, get the fuck out of my office.
And then by the time No Way Home came out, when they wanted to get Tobey Maguire, because the movie would not move forward without him. So
you couldn't do it.
They had to get him first. The way that they did it was instead of, going through agents and everything, the two of them personally emailed him and took him out to lunch. And this was not like at the commissary on Sony's lot. This was, they went to some really nice restaurant and wined and dined him. And then finally were just like, we're doing this thing. Do you want, and like, that's important to be able to like, not only is she controlling all of these moving parts as a producer, but she has the foresight to be like, actually, I don't have a total grasp on this, so let me bring in somebody who does, and let's work together to create something amazing. And No Way Home is like literally the standout movie from Phase 4, and it's
easily.
It's a Sony film.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a Marvel movie, it's a Sony film.
No, Disney does not own that movie.
Nope. It exists in their universe, but they don't own that.
They sure wish.
They do.
Where I feel like Kathleen Kennedy, all I hear about from her is power struggles. Like, the director she brings in to do this movie, they get halfway through development and she's like, well, I don't like your ideas anymore. And she gets rid of them. I mean, Lord and Miller, Colin Trevorrow, Josh Trank.
Yep.
There's another one in there. The Patty Jenkins one that they keep putting. It's not that
dude, on our show, I said as soon as that Wonder Woman 1984 came out, I told those guys like that Rogue Squadron movie is not fucking happening.
It's not like they took it off the schedule. They just stopped talking about it.
Yeah, it's like it is gone.
And now like the two guys that know what they're doing, Dave and John. She's fighting with them too for creative control of these things. It's just like, why can't you just do your job as an executive and sign the checks and back your creatives?
Connect the creatives.
This is why Disney has been so successful all these years, because Disney is run by the creatives. And the 3 years that it wasn't, when Chapek stepped in and put all the finance guys in, they tanked. Immediately tanked. I think the pandemic had something to do with that too, but...
Probably. It's interesting that you bring this up, like not fighting with the creatives. I read Bob Iger's book about a year or so ago, around when that came out. And there's a chapter about Marvel, and there's a man by the name of Ike Perlmutter. You guys have probably heard the name before.
All about this, yeah.
So Perlmutter was essentially in the Kathleen Kennedy role at Marvel, where he was the overseer on the business side of things. And Kevin was just the head creative, whereas now that's like John and Dave are over there. And it's interesting because when the infighting was going on at Marvel, and Kevin basically told Iger, if he's here, I'm out. Like, I'll go somewhere else. I know WB was recruiting him at the time.
They certainly tried, because wasn't it they put out BVS, and it absolutely tanked, and they were just like, all right, well, we got to get rid of Zach. Like, let's try and buy the Marvel guy. Yeah,
that's what happened. Yeah. And when Kevin said that to Bob realized that the creative was more important than the business. So he kept Kevin and sacked Perlmutter.
He did. Well,
and now
was it a sack, or they moved him so Kevin was then over him? Right.
It was one of those things that they do where like,
they put baby in the corner
for the press release. It's like, oh yeah, no, we've amicably parted ways, and Ike's gonna go do this now. But in reality, it's you're getting kicked off of this spot, and we'll find something for you to do that doesn't affect what we really have going on here.
I specifically remember, it was the Inhumans movie.
Yes,
Ike Perlmutter wanted an Inhumans movie to come out after Avengers, like Infinity War, like in between the two of them.
And he only wanted to do it out of spite to Fox for having the X-Men rights. It's the only reason he wanted to do it, because in the comics he sidelined the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, specifically pushing the Inhumans into like the lexicon of popular Marvel characters, which didn't work. But he was very petty about all that, and that's exactly why he pushed that movie.
That's right. And I remember specifically that that slate got announced, and Inhumans was on the tail end. We're like,
it was the very end, yeah.
Why the fuck are they doing an Inhumans movie? Like after Avengers, because it was still Infinity War Part 2 at the time. And
Correct.
then they said I think it was a couple months after that, we got the news that Kevin had been promoted, so to speak, that they changed the corporate structure of the company so that he's now in control. He didn't have to take orders from Ike Perlmutter. Like, it just didn't have to happen anymore.
Yeah, carte blanche now,
Immediately, 3 Spider-Man movies showed up, and that Inhumans thing, it got fucking tanked, like, off the Marvel schedule. But then he still tried, because he put it on the TV schedule.
Which is where Perlmutter still had some power. It was on the TV side, which is why he put that project on TV.
And then they tried to act like it was a big Marvel release by putting the first 2 episodes as a 2-hour special in IMAX. And when it came out, it got like, what, a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Everyone hated it.
So bad.
Hated it.
And it got to the point where Kevin Feige himself was just like, yeah, that's not part of the MCU. Like,
that's embarrassing.
We had nothing to do with that. Like, they're like, and everybody knows that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah,
the reason I bring all that up is because, it feels like there's something in the air a little bit here. Bob Iger's back. The creatives and the executives are fighting, and it's over this incredibly successful part of their IP that without it they'd be sinking. it feels like the bloom is coming off the rose for Kathleen Kennedy. It just feels like we're hitting that point. And I think you can look back to the Marvel scenario as the perfect example.
If I were to be charitable to Kathleen Kennedy, she has produced some major hits.
Yeah.
She did E.T., she
100%.
did Jurassic Park, she did all 4 Indiana Jones movies prior to this. You know, whatever your opinion is on Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that movie was a success. And when you go watch it like 10 years on, you're like, oh, some of this is a lot better than a lot of the shit they were putting out at the time. It's just we had such high expectations for all the original players are back. Yeah. And like I just couldn't believe that movie turned out the way it did. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's an argument that Kathleen Kennedy is bad at her job. I think it's an argument that her job has passed her by.
Yes.
I just don't think Star Wars is the element
the right IP for her
that she should be in. Yeah, it doesn't work. Like, she's a fantastic producer, one of the best working in Hollywood, but this just is not the right role for her. We've learned it. We've learned it from everything that Disney has done with Star Wars, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. If she wanted to go back to being like a line producer or an executive producer on some of these films, she's just writing checks or making sure people are fed, making sure that making sure people are
that's
paid.
What she's so good at that.
She's good at that. She's obviously great at that because she has, like I said, she has produced a number of hits. But as soon as she's now the executive, like the head of Lucasfilm, it's just shit. It's just shit. Yeah. It's like there's poop everywhere. It's like, everywhere. Can't deal with it.
It hasn't worked. It just hasn't worked.
And that's why when you see something like Mandalorian that she had no creative say in for the first 2 seasons, and then all of a sudden PAK gets involved, and they're like, well, we need shows upon shows. They're like, all right, I guess we're doing a Boba Fett thing. And they forced them to do a Boba Fett show. And then they were like, all right, well, this show isn't garnering enough this, or it's in production and we don't think it's this. So we need to shove Mando back in. So what do you got for what material from season 3 have you already written that we can burn, to bridge the gap? You know what I mean? Because I don't even
think that stuff was going to be in season 3. That was probably like season 4 or further out. Even.
With like the Darksaber and everything, like
with him going to go get Grogu back. I don't think that was gonna. If it was season 3, it was going to be end of season 3.
That's what I'm saying is like I think that was her. I think that was her saying, and then he's going to go this, and we're going to meet Ahsoka there, and
Yep.
So, but yeah, overall, I guess if we were just to wrap this up real quick, Mandalorian season 3, I'm disappointed by the fact that it doesn't feel like there was any setup for any future events. Like, if I were to miss the next episode, I wouldn't feel bad. You know what I mean? Because there's nothing to hook me in. Where I feel like every episode of The Boys, when we watched that show week to week, we were just like, I can't wait for the next episode.
That was appointment television. Like when you knew what time it was dropping and you made the time to make sure you were ready to watch it.
Well, that's the other 100%. Thing too, is that I feel like that way with the Marvel shows too, is that they diluted the properties so much, and then we got House of the Dragon and The Boys at the same time, or at least I watched them at the same time. And then we now with The Last of Us, I mean, God, every time we finish this show, we pack this shit up and you go home and you watch it. We make frozen pizza and we sit on the couch with the cats and we watch it. We make time for those TV shows because they are so good. And I feel like Disney Marvel could fucking take a note from this, and so could Zaslav, that son of a bitch, while he's at it. So yeah, I mean, listen, if you're watching The Mandalorian, you're gonna watch this anyway. But overall, I wasn't too jazzed.
You're not gonna miss out on it. You're not gonna be affected by any spoilers in the next probably 3 weeks.
If you wanted to bank the first 4 episodes of this season and fire through them all in 2 hours, go for it. You can do it, because this is not something like you have to watch this right now. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Not yet, at least. That could change though.
Yeah, not yet. So with that said, you want to hit the song there?
Love watching
you
Ryan's
guys like my
face
dancing.
That was beautiful.
Pretty good.
You guys like my dancing.
Is that what you do at rehearsal?
Yeah, that was it. Here I go again on my own.
Sorry, the top of your beanie just like flapping.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Can you
good?
I need you to switch the video on OBS.
Yep.
So Ryan can see my.
Yep. Ooh.
Oh, you gotta turn the virtual camera on in OBS.
Ooh.
There you go.
Ooh,
Perfect.
I know how to work OBS.
You killed
All right,
it.
I'm a
Ryan, you
real
can see my
streamer.
screen there, bud?
I do, yeah. I see
Okay,
it.
so I'm not sure if you're gonna hear the audio on this, but we will describe it to you because I know this is gonna make Mike laugh really hard. Ready?
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh no.
Oh.
Listen.
Being impeccable is not going against yourself. When you are impeccable, you take responsibility.
I love the fact that this guy is listening to a self-help guru in his car,
Blaringly enough to be
Blaring.
picked up
So
on.
loud.
like enough to get picked up on this Nest camera, and he is so into it that he pops the curb and nails this.
But take into consideration, you see how calm he is. He gets out of his car and he's like, "Hey, are you
does.
all right?"
and also
Are you
look at,
alright?
look at this
Like-
fucking superstar. So like when the car comes, he saves
Spider-Mans
his
that shit.
like boosh. And he honestly saved his legs. He saved his
probably
knees.
his life.
his and I like how he turns the back.
Yeah. He's like,
and-
"Hold
but
on."
I love this right here. Be impeccable. It says like.
Being impeccable.
Oh, are you all right? Yeah, not like you just bumped into somebody in the coffee shop.
I do like how this video starts like any great video on Clip of the Week, where it's just like a normal sunny day out in the neighborhood, and like you
bikini
see right up
bottom.
here, like like right here, like
Also the fact, look, we have so many of those signs, like the yellow signs.
hey, there's a turn here.
It's like, this is a quick turn. This guy is so fucking. He's probably jumped like 4 or 5 cars in the last
the
month.
fourth time this
look at
fucking
that.
month. Yeah.
He's like, I just got my new car back.
Oh,
like
what's
her,
interesting that what I'm seeing is like he's clearly like he gets control of the car again at some point because he's not going straight anymore. He starts the turn. He's able to do that turn to like not come straight on, but he can't stop the car.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah,
Honestly-
he chose not to brake. He chose to turn.
Yeah, like he's like I think he was aiming for the guy. Like it looks like he was aiming for him.
Yeah, the passenger also has so much. Everybody is way
he
too
turns
casual.
it, no problem, no problem. He turns that car right into the guy.
Like, right here it goes. Oh yeah,
I guess he was like, I don't want to hit the house.
Well, he was also, I think, like, if you look at his angle of approach here, you know, he's coming straight for the center mass, whereas, like, yeah, but you're absolutely right. I don't know why he didn't hit the brake. You know what's crazy? I had somebody stop short in front of me today, and my car finally did that thing
Did
where
the
it
auto
brakes
brake?
for me. I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, saved my life,
There you go.
or at least my deductible.
Beautiful.
All right, anyway. But yeah, I think the cherry on top of this video is...
Being impeccable.
Be impeccable.
You know, take responsibility. Never
Don't make mistakes.
Imagine it was just like, watch the road.
Yeah. Attention is the most important thing you can have.
9 times out of 10, people say, I was looking, but I didn't see him. And this is one of those times. Oh man, I love this. But yeah, I guess overall, like, you know, don't fucking listen to self-help. First of all, if you're listening to a self-help guru, just go to therapy, man. Like, that's your first problem. Number one.
Maybe this guy's on his way to therapy.
or on the way home.
Yeah, he's like, you know
he's
what?
gonna.
I just
He's
got-
certainly gonna have
go
something
back.
to talk about this week.
I just got a
Go
new
back.
book. I am engaged into this. I'm going to call my therapist, and they're going to be so proud I made 2 audiobook chapters today.
It's like also like it looks like he just is like parked and then he just shoop.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Like-
start my car and drive it full. I'm gonna floor it. Yeah.
That's
it's not a
pickup.
Tesla.
Like he had to be going pretty fast. That's a big pickup truck.
Oh, yeah.
It is, yeah.
That's
I
great,
really,
dude.
like I said, the cherry on top of the video
audio.
is the audio book, because like
It's so good.
because we've seen 100 different crashes on Clip of at this point. We've seen, I mean, the 1 week where we did basically the most horrific things you could watch on the internet, where I had to blur out the
video
entire
video got
episode.
flagged in 2
God,
seconds.
I uploaded it to YouTube, and they were just like, "No,
They were like,
no,
they were
no,
like-
no, no."
They were like, you think you're funny?
So I just went through the whole episode and just like I literally plastered our logo over every single fucking video because it wasn't working. But in studio though, I mean that one
With
what
the
was-
ankle. At the
Yo,
backup,
the
that's
ankle
a
was
fucked up
bad.
one.
That
Oof.
was bad too. I can't remember. Oh, I meant to tell you guys that you can actually see the bone sticking.
You
out of
did.
that.
You did tell
Oh,
us.
okay, I did. Never mind. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
Okay,
You
God.
you made sure to let us know.
Oh yeah. Hey guys, you can see the bone in this one. All right. Well, I guess with that, I mean, I'm Brian. I'm sorry that that happened. Like, I mean, technical mess ups happen.
Don't worry about it. You know, that was just for us. That
Yeah,
first
you know,
hour
that
and 20
was-
minutes.
It's our
Just for
little,
us.
our little
Yeah.
secret.
No,
It's
each other a little
just
bit
for the
more.
four of us in this room, and and obviously next time you come back on, I'll make sure that that.
Yeah, well, we gotta work something out. I know that you were trying to get our entire cast onto the show, but those other two guys are terrible. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
you
figured.
hit the jackpot just with me.
Just with you.
But no, we have to now that our show's back in its new format, we got to do a crossover with you coming over to our side,
But
our side of the
definitely,
pond over here.
We would absolutely be more than receptive.
Just in
to that.
case, do you want to tell everybody about your new format again?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about
remember
that.
we did the rehearsal for an hour and 20 minutes for this moment.
So yeah, like of course, I'm with the I'd Like a Refund podcast. We've been going for a little over 2 years now. We used to do just movies where one of our cast members or a guest would bring up a movie that they would want a refund on because for whatever reason they just don't care for it. And to be perfectly honest, we were getting busy out here in LA. All of us were picking up more work and had a lot going on. So we just decided, you know, it'd be more fun if we just picked a topic that was completely random and required none of us to spend 2 hours plus watching a movie and having to do any prep work for it. We just go into the episode and be ready to go from there. And so far we've done, I believe, where are we at? We're at like 7 episodes at this point of the new format. Our next one actually drops tomorrow for us recording this. Today's Sunday. Our episode comes out tomorrow for Monday. So we'll be at 8 at that point. And it's a lot of fun. You never know where the topics are going to go. We still talk a lot about the film, television, entertainment industry because that's just our bread and butter. But we can talk about it now in a less negative light unless certain things clamor for it.
Yeah. No, I definitely.
But
get
yeah,
it.
but-
Where can they find you?
Yeah, so we're our socials. We're at Refund Pod, any type of social media platform you can think of. We've got content going on there. We've done a lot of recent like on-site location projects. We're releasing content of when we went to LA Comic-Con, talking to a bunch of people over there about the things that they're passionate about
I did
in the
watch some of
entertainment
that.
industry.
It was really funny.
Yeah, no, it's been good. And then or anywhere you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, any of those, you can find us. I'd Like a Refund. Go in there, leave us a review. We get nothing really but positive reviews, except we have one on Apple that's a 1-star review, and I'm still trying to find the person who's responsible
What is
for
it?
that.
Let's see
Yeah,
what it
can
says.
you read it
hold
to
on.
us?
I'll look for it right now. I'll pull it up on my phone.
I don't know if they even. I can't even remember if they said anything.
It's like,
It
shit.
honestly could just be a bot from Apple. It's like these guys need to be taken down a peg a little
We
bit.
got-
They're like,
we-
all right, the show's not
is
that
it-
good.
Is the comment, I'd also like a refund from the last 2 hours.
That'd be good. You know what? If someone left that comment, I would just laugh. I'd be like, that's pretty good. Yeah, I
I'd
like
appreciate that more.
I don't think they left it.
What?
I
Oh,
think
you
they
guys
just-
took it off?
No, I think they just
They just left a star.
they
They
just
didn't
left
leave
the
a
star, not a thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was just
it.
they left no
Damn.
comment.
We
so.
got we had this one review actually. It's funny that you bring it up. That was just like, if you're looking for a family podcast, something for the kids to sit down and listen to, like, this is it. These guys make you feel like you're in the room with them, and like went on to talk about how like clean we are and how how family friendly and how like inviting we are. And I was like,
the wrong
you definitely are leaving this review on the wrong podcast because
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
is
for
not
sure.
us, not at all. Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you want to plug before we head out, or no?
No, I think I covered all the bases. Like I said, we got some new content coming up, some new video content. We had our 1-part documentary that came out in, I believe, December that we're very proud of. It gives a nice little behind the scenes look, more of a mockumentary style of like what goes into our show. So if you're new to the show, I would recommend that as well, just to like get to know the three hosts a little bit better and know the format of the show and why we've transitioned to this new format that we have. And you can find that on YouTube.
Sick.
But yeah, no, thank you all so much for having me again. I had a blast the first time. I had a blast in the hidden episode that no one will ever hear. And yeah, I loved talking Mandalorian. So if there was any,
I will try to fix that. Like I will try to
you know what,
salvage that.
Pat, I believe in you. I truly do. I think you're gonna figure it out.
I've never let you down before. I don't think so.
No, not yet.
Well, I guess with all that, thanks so much everybody for tuning in tonight. All of I'd Like a Refund stuff we're gonna put in the description of this video. Yeah, thanks so much for listening once again. This was episode 104 of Press Any Key. You can find us on all social media at pressantykey.tv. You can check out our website, pressantykey.tv. It's under construction right now. Don't go there. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you nerds get your podcasts. Nerds. And we will see you next time. Episode 105. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be here, right? Do you know... Because you're running from Scream, right?
It's too scary.
You know who's gonna be here?
Who?
AJ from Genre Geeks.
Perfect.
I'm going on their show tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Well, tell them I said what's up. So.
I will. I'll tell them you guys said hello.
All right. Well, and here's the other thing, guys. Okay, when we did our list for guests this year, we were immediately like, we're having Ryan back, we're having AJ back, we're having Rob back, we're having it. We did our list. I was like, you know what's funny? I haven't received a single fucking email from anyone asking me to go on there. So I'm putting it out there right now to all the podcasts that we're friends with. That we're like, what gives? What am I too much? Is it too much? I pull back.
I pull back.
But with that said, once again, Ryan, thank you very much for coming on this week. My co-hosts, Mike Burke, and on the ones and twos, I don't know what to refer to you as.
Your fiance, Liz.
My muse.
Hey, Gingy on Twitch.
Love of my life.
Oh, I like that one.
Apple of my eye. Thanks so much for listening this week, and we will see you next week for Scream 6. Bye-bye.